This is a Powerworks podcast short with Glenn Power and me, James Piecowye.
One of the things that people always ask us is how to do better fuel economy, but ultimately there are little bits you can do here and there to save a couple of miles a gallon, but that's not going to help. That's not gaining you anywhere near the percentage increase that you've had. And, you know,
short of getting a smaller vehicle, something with, go electric, you could go 3 cylinders, you could go, something else, or, not drive.
Yeah.
But who's, suddenly if you're going to, and this is a lot of people say, I'd go electric, but I got to get rid of my car now. I've got to invest now in the electric car. They're not cheap.
No, they are too expensive.
It's not viable. It's not viable for people to do a massive switch, and the vehicles aren't there anyway. So,
and you've got money tied up in a car that you're probably going to struggle to sell if it's put on fuel.
Exactly. So it's crazy times. It's
not going to change. This is the way it is. I mean, when I moved here, oil was $100 a barrel. Went down to 30.
Yeah.
Everyone cried about it. Now it's up above 100. Everyone's crying about it.
Yeah. Most places it needs to be about $65, $70 a barrel for them to start making money. It's over 100 now. People there, oil rich nations are kind of going, okay, we're securing the sovereign funds.
Yeah. And we still stockpiling it.
Yeah.
Because it's been something that the oil and gas industry have needed for 4 or 5 years. So not to even entertain any kind of conspiracy theory, but one of the bigger oil producing countries in the world is in the middle of a war and is now
number 4
persona non grata, or whatever you want to call it, with the world's trade networks.
Well, I was listening today, BBC World, and they're shipping a lot of their oil stocks and things to India. India's doing processing, and it's being exported out of India. It's like they're still making billions in a month. They're still selling the stuff.
The world's addicted to oil.
Yeah, it needs oil.
There's no coming back from it while ever there's not a viable alternative.
Yeah,
and
so it's
what do you do? Cars at the moment, the European ban I think is 2035 on internal combustion engine vehicles. So in 12 years, 13 years, you can no longer manufacture and sell an internal combustion engine vehicle in Europe. I would imagine North American market will follow quite closely behind, and then the rest of the world eventually, and there'll be certain parts of the world as well that will do that. Asia, I imagine, will be certain parts of it will be quite close behind, and if not in front of that. So in 10 to 15 years time, there aren't going to be internal combustion engines.
It's going to be a different world.
So sovereign funds need money for something, and I would imagine that fuel oil refineries to make petrol and diesel, they're going to need somewhere to get their money from. Where do they get? Cars aren't being made to use internal combustion engines anymore. Nobody wants a dirty power plant.
No,
they've been out of fashion for decades already. Nobody likes power plants as it is. So nuclear is a little bit still what to do with the waste. We'll dig 100-mile tunnels and put under that, and put big signs on it so archaeologists don't come around in 1,000 years and dig it up. This sort of nonsense that's associated with that.
Yeah.
Solar panels too cheap, too free, too available to everybody to. Yeah. How do you charge for electricity?
Yeah.
If you can cover your roof in solar panels and have a couple of wind turbines on your garden.
Yeah. Imagine.
And storage becomes less than the size of this table.
Yeah. Can you imagine? I know the options are here, but no one wants anyone to go that way. It's like, whoa,
and this is genuinely the problem. You've got a huge issue with governments, for good or bad. They also require money to operate.